In case you didn't know, there is a lot to learn about cameras, and it's more than just bodies and lenses. So today I'm actually gonna be teaching you guys about filters and what they do. Filters are pretty awesome because it will help you get the correct shot, or also in some scenarios, it'll help you add an artistic look to it. So let's go and break this video down for you. We're gonna be going over what are lens filters, what type of lens filters are most common in content creation, and then also I'm gonna give you a few different tips towards the end about when you're looking for a lens filter, how to shop for one, and which ones you should buy. Keep in mind as we go through this video, there are gonna be affiliate links in the description down below. So in case you wanna go ahead and pick up any of the products we're talking about today and you wanna help support me for absolutely free, I really appreciate it if you do that. So let's go and dive into the video. So first things first, what is a lens filter? Well, a lens filter is a thin piece of glass that goes on the front of a lens that actually is used for different shooting scenarios depending on what you're doing. Keep in mind these lens filters come in different sizes. So for instance, my 16-35 G Master is actually gonna be an 82 for the filter size, and then my 20mm Sony G lens is actually gonna be a 67 for the filter size. Most times the manufacturer will actually list it, or you can actually look on the front of the lens and it will have a number that will go and dictate what the filter size is. Now there's also different types of filters that you would use in different scenarios you to use them in. So let's go and talk about the three ones I find most common in content creation. Now the most common type of lens filter is gonna be the UV filter. Although this sounds like it protects your camera from the sun, it actually does nothing. Now the reason why this is the most used lens filter is because it does physically protect your lens in case you do bump something into it. So let's say if your keys by accident actually rub up against your lens, or if you do drop it, sometimes this actually helps save your lens. So instead of having to replace your lens, which is like $500 or more, you can just spend $50 or so to replace your UV filter. Oh, I literally just dude, the sun is just poking me in the face. Hang on. It's still, dude, I can't. Literally in the middle of this. All right, no one say anything about the change in the lighting. And if you're the type of person that would rather replace your lens than your filter, you probably have a decent amount of money. So if you wanna go ahead and share some, I will gladly take it. All right, so next up, let's go ahead and talk about the variable ND filter, or the ND filter. To do this, we're gonna have to go outside. So let's go for a little bit of a walk.
Okay, so let's pretend you guys want to go to a park like this and you want to vlog outside. Now, currently I'm using the variable ND filter, which I have right on my camera here, and it's set to a stop of 5. Now, if I were to take this ND filter off, this is what this shot would look like with the exact same settings. Probably really hard to see me right now. In fact, I can already tell there's no shot you're gonna be able to see me. Even if I try and color correct this is what I get. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to go outside, you need a variable ND. Now, why do you need an ND filter or a variable ND filter? Basically think of this as sunglasses, but for your actual lens. So it allows you to keep a really wide aperture, so you get that beautiful bokeh that you want, but you also get to actually darken the shot with this lens. You don't have to worry about changing your shutter speed or losing that bokeh by changing your aperture. So that is why this is super important to have in your kit. And you can also get a variable one like this, so in case you want to be able to not darken this shot too much. But let's say if it's not enough, then you can go all the way up to a 5 stop. And there you go. That's what a variable ND does. Now with this particular brand, I have a Polar Pro, the Peter McKinnon version, which is a little bit expensive, but I think it's actually worth it. This comes in 2 different versions, a 2 stop to 5 stop, and then a 6 stop to 9 stop. Basically what that means is it's talking about the amount of darkness it can add to the shot. So technically aperture is talked about in stops of light that allows into the camera. This is talking about stops of light it stops from getting into the lens of the camera, if that makes sense. So that in a nutshell is what a variable ND is. Now let's go ahead and head back and talk about the Black Diffusion 1.8 mist filter that we just got.
Not gonna lie, going outside in the sun is a bit much. So I'm glad we're back indoors now to talk about the last filter on the list, which is gonna be the Black Diffusion filter, or the mist filter. Now this filter is gonna be purely personal preference. So basically what this does is it actually softens up your shot and it gives it more of a cinematic or dreamy kind of look. Another cool thing that it does, listen up all you people that are fans of RGB, yet you gamers, I'm talking to you people, which is including myself. Any lights that are gonna be in the background are actually gonna have what's called a blooming effect. So what's really neat is that any like of your nano leafs, or if you have tube lights in the background, you'll actually get this really cool bloom around it. It makes it kind of look like it's glowing a little bit more than it really is. Now what's really cool is that with these mist filters, they come in different strengths, so it doesn't soften up your shot too much depending on if you don't want too much of a cinematic look. For instance, the one that I'm currently using right now is Black Diffusion 1/8 filter, therefore it's not gonna be super strong. So The shot is still really sharp, but I really get that awesome blooming effect in the background for my RGB lights. Now that we've talked about a couple different filters, let's go ahead and dive into a couple of tips when you're looking to buy some. Tip number one when it comes to shopping for lens filters, do not go too cheap. The reason why I say that is because even for the UV filter, which normally doesn't do anything for the picture, if you get too cheap of a lens filter for that one, you can actually add a green hint or sometimes a yellow tint to your shot. And this can also happen too with diffusion filters or any other type of filter you put in front of it. If it's cheap glass that they put in there, it might cause that problem. Now on the flip side, you also don't need the best. So if you're just starting out, don't go and buy a filter like this where it's 250 bucks. Yes, this one filter in my hands is $250. But you don't have to get this to also get the similar results I was getting before. But if you do have the money, I highly recommend getting this filter, but you don't need to go this high right off the bat. Now, when you do get in the market for an expensive lens filter, such as this one right here for 250 bucks, you should buy one that is a bit larger. Let me explain. For instance, I told you earlier there are different lenses that actually have a 67 filter size instead of an 82. But with this one being an 82, I can get what's called a step down ring. Now what that step down ring does is it will attach to it at the 82 size and it will be able to step it down to a 77, 67, or a lot of other different sizes as well. So what's really cool about that is the fact that you don't have to worry about buying super expensive filters for every single lens size. You can just get one really expensive lens filter and then you can get cheap step down rings. So it's gonna be a great way to save yourself a lot of money in the long run. And that's pretty much it. That is the basics to lens filter and also 3 common types you're gonna see with content creation. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure you guys hit that like button. It really helps me out a lot for free. And also if you want more content like this about me teaching you about stuff that involves content creation or you want vlogs from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, get subscribed, and then comment in the section down below which filter do you like the most. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.